All right, Costaki, welcome back to our neck of the woods, 4 hours up the road in Minneapolis. Let me ask you, are you experiencing a lot of Minnesota nice? I don't know if that's what you know, but we call it this part of the country, it's Minnesota nice. Did you experience a lot of that?
Of course. Yeah, they are nice. They're good people. They're good. Now there's a security bend that's a little scary. I'm staying at the Eagles Hotel.
Uh-oh.
And I had to talk to a guy with a machine gun to get into the place. So that was not in the traditional nice sort of list, you know.
Now, what I wonder is, was that the protocol already, or was that the protocol because it's the Eagles Hotel, and right now they are public enemy number one in Minneapolis?
You know what? That's actually true. It's funny that you know that, because not everybody does. When I was at media night on opening night, I guess they call it now, Monday night. So they introduced the teams, and the place is packed. They held it at essentially a basketball arena in St. Paul. And they sell tickets to the public, and most of the people in the building are just football fans who are local, right? So there are a lot of Vikings fans. Mm-hmm. So when they introduced the Patriots, there's some cheers and jeers or whatever. And then when they introduced the Eagles, there was a playful, gigantic boo in the whole place. Like people stood up and were booing them really loudly. It was fun. So, the Eagles screwed up their "Come Home, Bring It Home" campaign.
Yes, they did, big time.
Yeah.
What's your impression as you go around with some of the facilities and some, because there's some brand spanking. Have you seen the new stadium before?
You know what? I haven't, and sometimes the opening night is in the stadium, and this year it wasn't.
Right.
So I haven't been in there yet.
Okay, it is impressive.
Yes.
Really nice.
Right. And there's not going to be a home game there this year, but maybe next year when it's in Atlanta.
I was just going to ask you about that. Are you able to enjoy the run-up to the game more this year since you don't have a dog in the hunt?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I really was giddy about it all last year, so in a way I missed that. But yeah, I mean, it's more of a casual observer point of view this time, which is probably better. It's not quite as painful.
I got to ask you about some of the pictures you've been posting on social media. We saw, of course, you with the Vikings horns on, and that's a must, of course, when you go to Minneapolis. And then tell me about the ladies and the ice sculptures. What was going on with that?
Oh, my goodness. So at the media party, every Tuesday night of the Super Bowl week, there's a media party, and they really go all out with it. I've done maybe 3 or 4 of them, and it's a gift from the NFL to the journalists who come from all over the earth to come cover this crazy thing. And this year it was in the Mall of America, and if you don't know, inside the Mall of America there's a amusement park, and it's not small.
Yeah.
So the media party was in the amusement park, and the roller coasters were open, and some of the other wacky rides, and there's everything you could possibly drink and eat. And for no reason in particular that I could figure out, there was a little bit of a wintry nymph theme.
I doubt if that's what they called it. But
I don't know. And there was a particular spot where they had an ice sculpture that was the Vince Lombardi trophy.
Okay.
But it was hollow in the middle, and an ice nymph on stilts would pour a drink into the top of this thing, and it would go through the ice sculpture, and there was a different woman at the bottom who was capturing it in a cup and would hand you a drink. And I got one of those. How do you not?
Okay.
It was like a blue curacao and lemonade and vodka or something, which was refreshing.
And then you had another video of a woman sitting on a spherical object spinning around for no particular reason. What was the story behind that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the story of anything. I was just a guest at this thing. You know, they do a good job of adding some funny and memorable elements to parties. You know, they also had Mutant Ninja Turtles there I posed for pictures with, and you know, there's all this weird free stuff everywhere and food everywhere you turn, and there's a Hard Rock Cafe in there that had a show going on, and Brad Paisley was wandering around doing pictures with people, and it's, you know, they do a good job at this kind of stuff. A couple years ago in San Francisco, they had the party inside of a science museum.
Wow.
And it was like a really elaborate, beautiful museum, and then they add, you know, all these drink stations and a donut station and it's just, they do a good job of entertaining the journalists. I'll put it that way.
I saw that you made it to Media Day, and I loved your post about how you could put your name in the annals or immortality by running up and tackling Tom Brady while he was doing his interviews.
It's true, though, right?
Yes.
It's funny because as a comic, most of your time is spent trying to figure out how to be funny, but a big considerable part of the time is trying to figure out how to tell people who you are.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, I've spent 20 years trying to get famous so that people will come see my shows. And I realized I could get famous instantly just by tackling Tom Brady. He was right there. Yeah, I could be the Tanya Harding of the next generation. I would be a joke for 30 years.
Now, it used to be the Media Day was this circus sideshow, and they would just bring in all these goofballs and ask these dumb questions and have all these stunts going on. I think I saw the Eagles special teams guy snapping a hoagie or a cheesesteak or something. I don't know. Did you see any oddball stuff when you were at Media Day?
Yeah, there's always oddball stuff, and about 50% of it comes from the Latino media.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure why, but for some reason they have a different ethic about how you behave as a journalist.
Well, the lady that would be proposing to Tom Brady every year, I think she was from one of the Spanish language stations, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
I'll never forget. To me, the quintessential standard of this kind of journalism was the year that Victor Cruz was like a big star, and of course everyone wanted to talk to him. And he was doing the salsa dance as a celebration after touchdowns and stuff that year. So one of the media outlets from, I believe, Mexico had this long stick with a little disco ball on it, and they reached out over the podium and had it dangling near him and played salsa music and talked him into dancing.
Jeez.
It's fun, actually.
I guess.
I got to say, in a sea of other kind of stick-in-the-mud sports journalists, to have just silliness mixed in, it's great. I like it.
So off the field, I loved your stuff on Alex Smith. And I mean, so remind everybody about Alex Smith, and he goes from the Chiefs to the Redskins, and you had some great stuff on that.
Yeah, well, he stays in the Native American realm, right? Chiefs to Redskins, but he's going from the frying pan into the PC fire. That's a much tougher version of that to try to handle. What a weird story. Super Bowl week, have you ever heard of a big trade during Super Bowl week?
I thought there was kind of an unwritten rule that teams weren't allowed to do that because they didn't want to steal any of the thunder from the Super Bowl.
It might actually be a written rule. I think they're not allowed to finalize anything until the season, the NFL team year starts.
Okay.
The NFL, I forget what the language is, but that hasn't started yet. So I think this isn't technically happened yet. But that doesn't mean it won't happen. It's the same thing with the coaching, right?
Yeah. So as you were rubbing elbows with the inside folks and all the movers and the shakers of the NFL, what was your gauge of their level of fear that they have of the XFL coming back in 2020?
It's a hilarious question. I thought you were going to ask me about the Patriots. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't get a lot of fear. I wasn't reading that. The XFL. Didn't we solve for this algebra equation before? Doesn't X equal 0?
Yeah, pretty much.
I thought we did this. So, I'm not even convinced it's even going to happen.
Oh, right.
It's 2 years out. There's plenty of time to do some analysis and go, oh, yeah, this isn't going to work.
Well, I love the rationale behind it. Well, we jumped the gun. We did it too quickly last time. This time, by giving us a 2-year run-up, that'll be much more successful. Really? That's why you failed the first time.
I just don't. I mean, just from a practical point of view, not XFL, but just broadly, how can you have a league that competes with a league that already has all the best players in the world at what they do? It doesn't make sense. It's not compelling to watch a second tier of thing. That's the whole reason that you watch the thing, is because they're the best in the world.
Well, it's been tried so many times. I mean, I'm young enough, or old enough, I should say, to remember the WFL. Do you remember the WFL?
No,
okay.
What's that?
Oh, it was the Anaheim Sun and the Birmingham Bandits, and they had some goofy orange football and some strange. This was 70s now.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, the USFL, which I think a lot of people actually thought was going to give the NFL a run for their money. Our current president actually owned the team in New Jersey and all that.
Right.
And
New Jersey Generals, Herschel Walker.
Right, Herschel Walker. And they actually were fine when they were playing during the NFL's off season, but then they got a little bit too much bravado and decided they were going to go head-to-head against the NFL at the same time of the year, and then the whole thing just completely folded.
I mean, again, it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback, but that's a crazy idea.
It is.
to push it to Sundays in the fall. What are you doing?
Right, exactly.
Stop it.
Well, Donald Trump was one of the minds behind
Of course.
So, of course. What else do you need to know?
So, I don't know. I mean, the Arena League is a league that's not the premier players, and that seems to work at some smaller level. So is it possible? Yeah. Maybe we're dumb enough as a country now that we're ready for the I don't know. I mean, it is kind of fun to have a wrestler's mentality and change some of the things that you don't like about NFL football. I like the concept of that.
Right.
Of like, just make it what you want it to be, define a catch how you want, and that they'd have kind of a tip-off was always funny to me, that they would run out to see who get the ball first. Like that kind of stuff I like.
And, of course, the most memorable thing was allowing them to put whatever they wanted on the back of their jerseys. And so, of course, the "He Hate Me," that was probably still the most infamous one. He hate me.
Memorable because it's so weird. You're like, why do we know what that means? It's not even a phrase that makes sense in English. I think maybe if it's off-season, that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And it's colorful and it's different, and it's maybe they get some names like Ocho Cinco to come back kind of thing. And then some college stars that didn't make it in the NFL. I mean, is it possible that it works? Sure. I mean, it'd be fun for me.
Can the NFL, as a housewarming present in 2020, give them the Browns?
Poor Browns. Why? Why are they so bad? Why?
You couldn't back into one win this year? Just one?
I know. It's hard to imagine. I was kidding about the Pro Bowl. It's a universally acknowledged showcase of useless, terrible football. It's like a Browns game, but you know the players' names.
That's true.
The Pro Bowl, by the way, last year was sponsored. This is a true story. Was sponsored by Aquafina. A game so watered down, it was actually sponsored by water.
It is the worst of the professional all-star games, by far the worst.
Why is that? Because of the fear of injury?
I suppose because the other thing is because it's in the postseason. Every other all-star game is in the middle of the season. When the interest is at its highest level. The Pro Bowl, remember, they used to play it the week after the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like anybody cared about the week after the Super Bowl.
Right. And then they try to make it more relevant. They experimented with having it in the Super Bowl city.
Right.
Yeah. Now it's in Orlando. It's the week before.
Yeah, I
don't know.
The skills competitions
really
and stuff is fun.
As a kid.
I know. Yeah.
I think it's, Travis Kelce hurt himself and was out for a lot of the real football time because of a Pro Bowl game.
Yeah.
And I think that really put an extra dent in sort of enthusiasm for it.
Well, I think the other issue was when you and I were kids, guys played in the Pro Bowl because they needed the money.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean, I grew up a Rams fan back in the day, and when Merlin Olsen was selling cars in the offseason and selling flowers to supplement the lack of money he was making playing football. These guys don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Funny. It's funny that even the stars would have money issues.
I know.
It's hard to imagine.
Shows how far we've come.
That's right.
All right, so what else is going on football-wise?
Well, Tom Brady had his stitches removed from his hand. No word on when doctors will remove the referee's lips from his ass.
That was a bad look for the NFL when the officials are helping him up off the field,
right,
congratulating him after the game.
Right.
Bad look.
Yes. And the NFL's beefed up security to make sure no jerseys get stolen this year, of course.
Good.
Brady's jersey. But I think they should do an ad for NFL Shop based on that whole story, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy standing there in the Brady jersey. I had to steal this out of Tom Brady's locker and smuggle it back to Mexico, and then I got arrested by the FBI. There's a little kid next to him with the same jersey. I got mine at NFLshop.com.
Brilliant. Why have they not hired you?
That actually would be a good ad.
Would be a great ad.
There's some other fun stats that I didn't know. The Vikings, the host city,
mm-hmm,
have played in 4 Super Bowls, but never had a lead at any time in any of them.
Yeah?
They've led in a Super Bowl for the same amount of time as left shark. The Vikings are wide left shark.
And didn't look as good doing it.
No, they didn't. 4 teams have never played in a Super Bowl: Jaguars, Texans, Lions, Browns. And only one team didn't play in the fourth quarter. Go Falcons!
Oh, yeah. Still too soon?
Still too soon. Can I close on a Falcons joke?
Yes, please do.
You can pose for a picture with the Vince Lombardi trophy, but it's in a glass case, so you can get really close, but you can't quite touch it. Perfect metaphor for a Falcons fan.